Casablanca is the largest city of Morocco, located in the northwestern part of the country on the Atlantic Ocean. Casablanca is Morocco's chief port and one of the largest financial centers on the African continent. The 2012 census, adjusted with recent numbers, recorded a population of about 4 million in the prefecture of Casablanca. Casablanca is considered the economic and business center of Morocco, while the national political capital is Rabat. The leading Moroccan companies and international corporations doing business there have their headquarters and main industrial facilities in Casablanca. Recent industrial statistics show Casablanca retains its historical position as the main industrial zone of the country. The port of Casablanca is one of the largest artificial ports in the world, and the largest port of North Africa. It is also the primary naval base for the Royal Moroccan Navy. Etymology: the original name of the city was Anfa, in Berber language, by at least the 7th century BC. After the Portuguese took control of Anfa in the 15th century AD, they rebuilt it, changing the name to Casablanca. It derives from the Portuguese word combination meaning White House. The present name, which is the Spanish version, came when the Portuguese kingdom was integrated to the Spanish kingdom. During the French protectorate in Morocco, the name remained Casablanca, pronounced Kzblnk, by the French. In the 18th century, an earthquake destroyed most of the town. It had been rebuilt by the Sultan, who changed the name into the local Arabic, which is Addaar Albayḍaa. The city is still nicknamed Kaza by many locals and outsiders to the city. In many other cities with a different dialect, it is called Addaar Albayḍaa instead. A famous boulevard inside Casablanca city is called Anfa Boulevard. Anfa is generally considered the early, old original city of Casablanca. It is legally a prefecture with 500,000 city inhabitants. History. Early history: the area which is today Casablanca was founded and settled by Berbers by at least the 7th century BC. It was used as a port by the Phoenicians and later the Romans. In his book Wasf Africa, Al-Hasan al-Wazn refers to ancient Casablanca as Anfa, a great city founded in the Berber kingdom of Barghawata in 744 AD. He believed Anfa was the most prosperous city on the Atlantic coast because of its fertile land. Barghawata rose as an independent state around this time, and continued until it was conquered by the Almoravids in 1068. Following the defeat of the Barghawata in the 12th century, Arab tribes of Hilal and Sulaim descent settled in the region, mixing within the local Berbers, which had led to a global Arabicizing. During the 14th century, under the Marinids, Anfa rose in importance as a port. The last of the Marinids was ousted by a popular revolt in 1465. Portugal conquest and Spanish influence. In the early 15th century, the town became an independent state once again, and emerged as a safe harbor for pirates and privateers, leading to it being targeted by the Portuguese, who bombarded the town, which had led to its destruction in 1468. The Portuguese used the ruins of Anfa to build a military fortress in 1515. The town that grew up around it was called Casablanca, meaning White House in Portuguese. Between 1580 and 1640, the Crown of Portugal was integrated to the Crown of Spain, so Casablanca and all other areas occupied by the Portuguese were under Spanish control, though maintaining an autonomous Portuguese administration. As Portugal broke ties with Spain in 1640, Casablanca came under fully Portuguese control once again. The Europeans eventually abandoned the area completely in 1755 following an earthquake which destroyed most of the town. The town was finally reconstructed by Sultan Muhammad bin Abdullah, the grandson of Molly Ismail and an ally of George Washington, with the help of Spaniards from the nearby Emporium. The town was called Addaar Albayḍaa, the Arabic translation of the Spanish Casablanca. French conquest in the 19th century. The area's population began to grow as it became a major supplier of wool to the booming textile industry in Britain, and shipping traffic increased. By the 1860s, around 5,000 residents were there, and the population grew to around 10,000 by the late 1880s. Casablanca remained a modestly sized port, with a population reaching around 12,000 within a few years of the French conquest and arrival of French colonialists in the town, at first administrators within a sovereign sultanate, in 1906. By 1921, this rose to 110,000, largely through the development of shanty towns. French rule and influence. In June 1907, the French attempted to build a light railway near the port and passing through a graveyard. As act of resistance and protestation, the locals attacked the French. Riots ensued, caused only few wounded soldiers and one dead general. In revenge, the French attacked by ship, bombarding the city from the coast, and landing troops inside the town, which caused severe damage to the town and 15,000 dead and wounded bodies. The French claimed that it was to restore order there. Thus, it was just a catalyzing excuse to take control of Casablanca. This effectively began the process of colonization, although French control of Casablanca was not formalized until 1910. Under the French rule, Muslim anti-Jewish riots occurred in 1908. The famous 1942 film Casablanca underlined the city's colonial status at the time, depicting it as the scene of a power struggle between competing European powers. The film has a cosmopolitan cast of characters. Europeans formed almost half the population. During the 1940s and 1950s, Casablanca was a major center of anti-French rioting. A bomb attack on 25 December 1953 caused 16 deaths. World War II. Operation Torch was the British-American invasion of French North Africa during the North African Campaign of World War II, which started on 8 November 1942. The Americans attacked at 3 different locations in French North Africa, one of the 3 being the landings at Casablanca because of its important port and the major administrative centers. Casablanca was an important strategic port during World War II and hosted the Casablanca Conference in 1943, in which Churchill and Roosevelt discussed the progress of the war. Casablanca was the site of a large American airbase, which was the staging area for all American aircraft for the European theater of operations during World War II. Since independence in October 1930, Casablanca hosted a Grand Prix, held at the new Anfa racecourse. In 1958, the race was held at Anfa circuit. Morocco gained independence from France on 2 March 1956. In 1983, Casablanca hosted the Mediterranean Games. The city is now developing a tourism industry. Casablanca has become the economic and business capital of Morocco, while Rabat is the political capital. In March 2000, more than 60 women's groups organized demonstrations in Casablanca proposing reforms to the legal status of women in the country. About 40,000 women attended, calling for a ban on polygamy and the introduction of divorce law. Although the counter-demonstration attracted 500,000 participants, the movement for change started in 2000 was influential on King Mohammed VI, and he enacted a new mudawana, or family law, in early 2004, meeting some of the demands of women's rights activists. On 16 May 2003, 33 civilians were killed and more than 100 people were injured when Casablanca was hit by a multiple suicide bomb attack carried out by Moroccans and claimed by some to have been linked to Al-Qaeda. 12 suicide bombers struck 5 locations in the city. A string of suicide bombings struck the city in early 2007. A suspected militant blew himself up at a Casablanca internet cafe on the 11th of March 2007. On the 10th of April, 3 suicide bombers blew themselves up during a police raid of their safe house. 2 days later, police set up barricades around the city and detained 2 more men who had escaped the raid. On the 14th of April, two brothers blew themselves up in downtown Casablanca, one near the American consulate, and one a few blocks away near the American Language Center. Only one person was injured aside from the bombers, but the consulate was closed for more than a month. As calls for reform spread through the Arab world in 2011, Moroccans joined in, but concessions by the ruler led to acceptance. However, in December, thousands of people demonstrated in several parts of the city, especially the city center near La Fontaine, desiring more significant political reforms. Geography and climate. Casablanca is located in the Chaouia Plain, which has historically been the breadbasket of Morocco. Apart from the Atlantic coast, the Bascoura forest is the only natural attraction in the city. The forest was planted in the 20th century and consists mostly of eucalyptus, palm, and pine trees. It is located halfway to the city's international airport. The only watercourse in Casablanca is Oued Bascoura, a small seasonal creek that until 1912 reached the Atlantic Ocean near the actual port. Most of Oued Bascoura's bed has been covered due to urbanization, and only the part south of El Jadida Road can now be seen. The closest permanent river to Casablanca is Rabia, 70 kilometers to the southeast. Climate. Casablanca has a very mild Mediterranean climate with oceanic influence. The cool Canary Current off the Atlantic coast moderates temperature variation, which results in a climate remarkably similar to that of Los Angeles, with similar temperature ranges. The city has an annual average of 74 days with significant precipitation, which amounts to 427 millimeters per year. The highest and lowest temperatures ever recorded in the city are 40.5 degrees Celsius and -2.7 degrees Celsius, respectively. The highest amount of rainfall recorded in a single day is 178 millimeters. Economy. The Grand Casablanca region is considered the locomotive of the development of the Moroccan economy. It attracts 32% of the country's production units and 56% of industrial labor. The region uses 30% of the national electricity production. With MAD 93 billion, the region contributes to 44% of the industrial production of the kingdom. About 33% of national industrial exportations, MAD 27 billion, comes from the Grand Casablanca. 30% of the Moroccan banking network is concentrated in Casablanca. One of the most important Casablancan exports is phosphate. Other industries include fishing, fish canning, sawmills, furniture production, building materials, glass, textiles, electronics, leatherwork, processed food, spirits, soft drinks, and cigarettes. The Casablanca and Mohammedia seaports activity represent 50% of the international commercial flows of Morocco. Almost the entire Casablanca waterfront is under development. Mainly the construction of huge entertainment centers between the port and Hassan II Mosque, the Anfa resort project near the business, entertainment and living center of Megaramath, the shopping and entertainment complex of Morocco Mall, as well as a complete renovation of the coastal walkway. The Sindbad Park is planned to be totally renewed with rides, games and entertainment services. Royal Air Maroc has its head office at the Casablanca Anfa airport. In 2004, it announced that it was moving its head office from Casablanca to a location in province of Nouakchott, close to Mohammed V International Airport. The agreement to build the head office in Nouakchott was signed in 2009. The biggest CBD of Casablanca and Maghreb is in the north of the town in Sidi Marouf near the Mosque of Hassan II, and the biggest project of skyscrapers of Maghreb and Africa. Casablanca Marina. Administrative divisions. Casablanca is a commune, part of the region of Casablanca Setit. The commune is divided into 8 districts or prefectures, which are themselves divided into 16 subdivisions or arrondissements and 1 municipality. The districts and their subdivisions are Ain Chok, Ain Sebar, Hay Mohammadi, Ain Sebar, Hay Mohammadi, Roches Nawaz, Anfa, Marif, Sidi Belayout, Benemzik, Esparta, Sidi Bernusi, Sidi Mouman, Alfida, Mers Sultan, Mekoar, Mers Sultan, Hey Hassani, Moli Rashid, Sidi Othmana. Neighborhoods. The list of neighborhoods is indicative and not complete. 2 Mars, Ain Sebar, Belvedere, Buchentif, Bourgogne, California, Centerville, CIL, Derb Garlif, Derb Sultan Alfida, Derb Tazi, Al-Hank, Hey Al-Mohammadi, Gauthia, Habas, Hey Dakla, Hey Farah, Hey El Hana, Hey Moli Rashid, La Colline, Biskura, Laymoun, Lissasfa, Marif, Palmiers, Old Medina, Mers Sultan, Nassim, Oasis, Walfa, Polo, Racine, Riviera, Roches Noirs, Salmia II, Esparta, Sidi Bernusi, Sidi Maruf, Sidi Mouman, Sidi Othman. Demographics. The population of Grand Casablanca was estimated in 2005 to be 3.85 million. About 98% live in urban areas. Around 25% of them are under 15 and 9% are over 60 years old. The population of the city is about 11% of the total population of Morocco. Grand Casablanca is also the largest urban area in the Maghreb. The number of inhabitants is, however, disputed by the locals, who point to a number between 5 and 6 million, citing recent drought years as a reason for many people moving into the city to find work. During the French protectorate in Morocco, European Christians formed almost half the population. Later, after the independence in 1956, the European population has decreased substantially. Judaism in Casablanca. A Sephardic Jewish community was in Anfa up to its destruction by the Portuguese in 1468. Jews were slow to return to the town, but by 1750, the Rabbi Elijah Synagogue was built as the first Jewish synagogue in Casablanca. It was destroyed along with much of the town in the 1755 Lisbon earthquake. Today, the Jewish cemetery of Casablanca is one of the major cemeteries of the city. Main sites. The French period Ville Nouvelle of Casablanca was designed by the French architect Henri Prost, and was a model of a new town at that time. The main streets radiate south and east from Place des Nations Unies, previously the main market of Anfa. Former administrative buildings and modern hotels populate the area. Their style is a combination of Hispano-Moorish and Art Deco. Casablanca is home to the Hassan II Mosque, designed by the French architect Michel Pinceau. It is situated on a promontory on the Atlantic Ocean. The mosque has room for 25,000 worshippers inside, and a further 80,000 can be accommodated in the mosque's courtyard. Its minaret is the world's tallest at 210 meters. The mosque is also the largest in North Africa, and the third largest in the world. Work on the mosque started in 1980, and was intended to be completed for the 60th birthday of the former Moroccan king, Hassan II, in 1989. However, the building was not inaugurated until 1993. Authorities spent an estimated $800 million in the construction of the building. The Parc de la Ligue Arabe is the city's largest public park. On its edge is the Casablanca Cathedral. It is no longer in use for religious purposes, but it is open to visitors and a splendid example of Moresque architecture. The Old Medina attracts fewer tourists than the Medinas of cities such as Fez and Marrakesh. However, it has undergone some restoration in recent years. Included in this project have been the western walls of the Medina, its Scala, or bastion, and its colonial period clock tower. A popular site among locals is the small island Marabout de Sidi Abdrahmana. It is possible to walk across to the rocky island at low tide. This outcrop contains the tomb of Sidi Abdurrahman Thalabi, a Sufi from Baghdad and the founder of Algiers. He is considered a saint in Morocco. Because of this, many Moroccans make informal pilgrimages to this site, to reflect on life and to seek religious enlightenment. Some believe that the saint possessed magical powers, so his tomb still possesses these powers. People come and seek this magic to be cured. Non-Muslims may not enter the shrine. Other sites include the Casablanca Technopark, an information technology business cluster complex, as well as the Casablanca Marina. Shopping. Several shopping centers are in Casablanca, of which the largest is Morocco Mall. It is the largest shopping center in Africa with 250,000 square meters of floor space in Casablanca. The mall, which opened on December 1, 2011, was designed by architect Davide Padua of Design International, a global architecture boutique with its headquarters in London. The mall features a massive 1 million-liter aquarium that contains over 40 different species of fishes. The aquarium is called Aquadream and was designed and built by International Concept Management. Visitors have the opportunity to take a ride through the center of the cylinder-shaped aquarium with a 360 degrees view of the sea life. Visitors can also go scuba diving with a professional instructor inside the aquarium. Anfa Place shopping center is located on the Corniche of Casablanca. The Casablanca Twin Center is the new landmark of the business district of Casablanca. Over 100 meters in height, the Twin Towers dominate the skyline, and the work environment is better coordinated and more dynamic, which is, as evidenced by their design, particularly studied in terms of technology, efficiency and comfort.